Hello, I've returned. It's been a luteal phase of a week for all my friends who know what that is. I got back from the gym about an hour and a half ago. I've been watching YouTube, and to be real, we're about to roll up yet again because it's a Sunday, and that's what we do on the Lord's Day. We rest. I So to talk about the fun stuff, I actually just got off of someone's live stream. It was great. I really didn't want to talk about Drake, even though the topic was like beta men are gay for Drake. It was clickbait for me, and I had to, and it was from a channel that I really love and respect. If any of you follow Abso-fucking-lutely on YouTube, you should know that I attended my first one of her lives just now, and that shit was so fun. I felt like a long lost cousin that had just found her way into the chat. And the way I was shouted out in the video was crazy because the creator has never shouted out any of my comments in the chat the way that she has. So shout out to Absa, shout out to the mods. Everyone in the chat was super cool. And we're just continuing the trend. I'm watching Curtis King's replay, all this, that, and the third. Really what I wanted to come on here and yap about today is the fact that we are now in March. We are in the third month of 2025. It has been the longest year so far. And it's probably not just because January was 5 weeks, which is crazy to think about. And then February, which is the shortest month of the year, went by like that. Also, it is we're entering officially, I believe, is it Aries season now? Are we? We're in Aries season, which means we've hit Lunar New Year, which means this is technically like round 2 of New Year energy coming at us straight to the dome. And I think I'm actually going to take a second to explain that. So in my worldview, I count my new year, like the end of my year where I reassess my goals and I look at the vision board and da-da-da-da. I do that on my birthday because it makes sense, right? Like my personal year started on my birthday, the year I was born. And so when I turned, I think 23 or 24, I kind of realized that like the whole New Year's trend really didn't work out for me. So I was like, why don't I just make my own? Because I was young and dumb. And I'm still kind of young. I'm still pretty young, actually, for someone who's not in their 30s decade just yet. And yeah, please ignore the fact that my hair is messy and I'm in a sweater and I don't wear makeup. If you have anything to say about my appearance, just don't. Just don't. Either I'll just delete the comment or you'll get blocked or whatever. We don't engage in that type of judgment rhetoric here, personally speaking. That being said, yes, I start my New Year's on my birthday. I still, of course, celebrate New Year's Eve, December 31st, January 1st. I feel like, to me, though, that's more of the fiscal year ending. And that might be because I focus on that type of milestone at my day job. You know what I mean? Like the end of the quarter. And so in January, we'll do our quarterly business reviews. And that's kind of how I envision that. But to be clear, there are phases to the New Year energy in my worldview. And it goes my birthday, which is in October because I'm a Libra gang. And then it rolls into December, fiscal year ending. And then we hit right now, which is Lunar New Year, or some time like a couple weeks after Lunar New Year, technically speaking. But it's the start of the new astrological cycle where our Pisces series has ended and we're now in the season of Aries. And so that says a lot to me. And then when spring hits in April and we're at the spring equinox, then the new year is truly underway, which kind of implies to me that there's like phases and waves that come with all of the bullshit that this year will bring us. Like if you remember correctly, a lot of the stuff that we yapped about and went on about for the rest of 2024 all happened in the first 6 months of 2024. So we spend the first 6 months of the year, as far as I've seen, like I'm open to a more nuanced, more complex view on this. This is just my own personal experience, so I'll preface it with that. But like, it seems to me that uh, as part of the novelty that comes in at the beginning of a year, right? Like, we have all these new actions, and 2025 is crazy because we just elected a president into office for their second term, and so everybody's watching them and what's going on with people around them, and especially because there's lots of money around that person and there's lots of people with money around that person. It's arrived time for conversation. um I really don't think, though, that this is the end of it. Like, I really think that for the next few months, we're really just going to be sitting back and watching. And I can foresee, based on what has happened in the past and just kind of what the general vibe is in my mind going forward, that we're going to get, hit for the first few months of the year, and then we're going to be responding and reacting and like making moves and actions in the second half of the year, that will both address what happened in the first 6 months of 2025 and also will feed into sort of the new novel actions that will come in the beginning of 2026. So to me, in my mind, this is actually like a very potent time to do things, to examine your your personhood, to take a look at humanity, to look at the cultural zeitgeist around you, to engage in critical discussions about the kind of person you want to be in this tumultuous society. And honestly, if anyone wants me to define any of the words I use in my podcast, like, go for it. I'm always happy to hop in and chat with people. I am a certified yapper when given the space to do so, which is, I think, a large reason of why I started doing these recordings in the first place. Like, I stay at home. If you haven't caught on, like, I'm at home. I'm a homebody. Proudly so. I do what I call, and what I've heard other people call, enjoy my rent, especially because I pay so much for it. Like, the going rate for a quality one bedroom apartment with like a parking spot and a washer and dryer and a dishwasher and an actual tub instead of a standing shower is like 2 grand where I live. I don't even live in the city. You guys, I live like 45 minutes north of the city in the valley at the foot of the Cascade Mountains. I live in a tiny little town that's like 3 square miles, you know, and so it's like, I have a very specific view of things. I do go into the city for work, of course, to go to the office, hang out with friends, talk to people. I'm close by. It's accessible. 45 minutes might seem like a lot to you. Certainly seems like a lot to people who live near me, who are like, ew, you go into Seattle like that often? And I'm like, yes, I do, because that's what it takes to live. Like, you move, you go places. I also pay for the privilege of a vehicle. And so I have my own vehicle that I take care of, so I can drive and go places that I want to go to. That being said, I will quickly revisit the topic I was just on before rolling on to the next. If you are not using this time to really think about and nurture the kind of person that you want to be in difficult times, also, if you're the kind of person who refuses to see that we are currently living in difficult times, please reframe your thinking. Please reframe the lens with which you look through the world. I don't know if you need to zoom in or zoom out. I don't know. But we are certainly living in tough times for a multitude of reasons, not just wealth inequality wise, but communication wise, the breakdown of communication, the elimination of nuance from media, from the online chat rooms, from general conversations in person is so scary to me. Like, I want to hear your honest thoughts. I want to talk to people who, have done the work to not be so easily offended. And I will just say I found that in Absa's chat. So if you're not a follower of Absa, like, absolutely, please go just like check out a video of hers or not. Like so eloquent and well spoken and just very grounded and down to earth, and also has their own niche interests. That's the type of shit I like to see on the online space. I think the internet was not prepared for what it turned into, but I think that we are in a linchpin moment where we as users and active engagers of this platform, is engagers a word? I don't know. But language is all made up anyway, so whatever. That being said, I think that this is a very opportune moment for those of us who are invested in seeing the internet be the democratized place that we want it to be. Now is the moment to act as if and make it happen. Because this idea was floated to me by Curtis King TV. Shout out to him too, because I'm always watching like Curtis King. I'm watching The Company Man. I'm watching Absolutely. I'm watching like commentary channels like The Financial Diet, like, you know, varying voices along the spectrum of identity, political, cultural, heritage. You know, I like hearing from diverse perspectives. Um, yeah, that being said, there was something he brought up that I've heard before, but just like it really stuck with me this time, which is that like we all use the same internet. Elon, Trump, celebrities, like the fucking Jenners and the Kardashians. That was a strange way to combine their names, brain. I don't know why you did that. Yeah, like rappers, actors, we all use the same fucking internet, but they don't engage with the internet the way that we do, creators in this space. I'm not saying I'm some prolific content creator. I don't really know what my aspirations are in terms of my content, but I do know that I want to show up on the internet a specific way to let people know that it's not just bots on here, and that some people are accepting and are pushing forward the wave of nuance, like bringing nuance and complexity back into conversations that need them. You know, this monolithic view that we have of so many things is, I think, damaging, even lazy to an extent, like mentally and intellectually lazy. I don't like to consider myself, um, you know, someone who has a lot to say on certain things, but I do. I form opinions on my own. I love hearing other people's opinions. I was a debate girly, so I mean, and I'm a Libra. I'm happy to hear all sides, bro. Like, I'm literally, our astrological sign is the scales. We are the only inanimate object in the zodiac. Could you please just give us the credit? But that being said, as far as me as an individual, because I've noticed that this video is getting a little long and I don't really edit my videos because Substack doesn't really let you do that when you record straight into a post. I will say that if you have not taken the time to look at your current settings, your current surroundings, the people that you're with, the narratives that you absorb and engage with, now is probably the time to do so, because you're going to see a lot of changes happen in the space with media, with writing, with journalism, anything that has to do with information and knowledge sharing. You're going to see some very powerful people be invested in making sure that this space cannot cater to these types of conversations anymore. So if you haven't and you've thought about starting a YouTube video, please do so. Start a YouTube channel, start a Substack, do anything that puts you on the internet. You don't even have to put your face up like I did. Like some days I'm just like, damn, I can't believe I put my face on the internet. I probably should have started with a podcast or something, but like, to each their own, right? Like, I'm not afraid of you knowing what I look like. Point blank, period. Whatever you gotta say, like, whatever. We can talk about it, I guess. But please, by all means, show up. Like 80% of it is just showing up. Actually, it's just like going to school. Even if you don't do any of the homework, you'll get those teachers who like say that 80% of your grade is just based on attendance. Literally just show up. I don't care how. I would love to read what you write. I'd love to watch what you record and edit. All of those things. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who thinks and feels this way. on the internet. I may have certain opinions and beliefs. Again, the conversation piece. This is all to start conversations and to get to know people and to know that the world is actually a good place, despite what some very powerful outlier voices would have us believe. I really just think that conversations are dominated by the vocal minority rather than the silent majority. So unsilence yourself, speak up. If you haven't heard it yet, you can hear it from me. Your big sis on the internet wants you to yap right back at me. Okay, so that's my yap session for today. I'm gonna go roll up and spend the rest of my Sunday how I damn well please, and I hope you do too. But anyway, much love. XO Jade.